Hello, it is Ryan, and I was on a flight the other day playing one of my favorite social spin slot games on ChumbaCasino.com. I looked over at the person sitting next to me, and you know what they were doing? They were also playing Chumba Casino. Everybody's loving having fun with it. Chumba Casino is home to hundreds of casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com to claim your free welcome bonus. That's ChumbaCasino.com and live the Chumba life.
Sponsored by Chumba Casino.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
The following podcast is brought to you exclusively by the Rad Rob Radio Network.
This is PBA champion Kyle Troop, and you're listening to Straight Up 5 with Johnny Petraglia Jr. As you know, JP Jr. used to be introduced as the sexiest man in bowling, and now the world. But he doesn't have the best hair in the world. I do. Sorry, bud, but you know the deal. Pick it out. Fear the fro, baby.
Welcome to Straight Up 5 with Johnny Petraglia Jr. A hard-hitting, in-depth, cutting-edge look into the world of bowling. This podcast will not only cover all things bowling, but will also give you a raw look into real-life issues. You'll get unfettered access into the mind of one of the most gifted bowlers of this or any other generation. So without further ado, let's introduce you to the hosts of the show. Rad Rob Francois. Rad Rob Francois. Dr. Ocho. And the incomparable Johnny Petraglia Jr.
Hey guys, welcome back to Straight Up 5 with Johnny Petraglia Jr. I am your host, Rad Rob Francois. Dr. Ocho is off tonight. He apparently he's sick, which I didn't think it was even possible for him to get sick. But apparently, when I sent him the audio file last week, he said I sent him a virus. So take it for what it is. So sorry, Ouch. So we will introduce the man who everybody came here to see. Nobody wants to see me or Ocho. It is the one and only sexiest man in the world, Johnny Petraglia Jr. Good evening, sir.
What's up, bro? Good to see you, as always.
Good to see you, too, man. How you feeling?
I'm feeling the best I've felt in a while. I'm moving around like a normal person now, and let's see, what else? I had a cold. Apparently, there's something real bad going around across. I think they're calling it like a tridemic or a triple-demic, where it's COVID flu and that RSV all put together, and everybody's getting smacked with it. I got it minimally. What's up, Dave? Hi, okay. Sonny.
Hey, Sonny.
I got it minimally, but for a couple days, it was really torturous. But between that, what's up, Brett? Between that and getting over the L5S1 compressed disc in my lower back, everything is ship-shape compared to the last month or so. So,
well, you look great. You sound great, as Thanks, always. Bro. Dan Babcock, what's up? Good to have you all in the chat here. So let's introduce our very special guest. She is our guest co-host for the night. She is the sexiest woman in bowling. Can I say that? That's yes. Fine? Okay. She's the sexiest woman in bowling. She is Johnny's BFF. She is here all the way from, is she on the East Coast still?
Pennsylvania.
She's not a Jersey girl?
She's not a Jersey girl.
No shit. I never knew that.
No.
Well, we have to get into how you guys met. So, without any further ado,
I have to ask her that because I can't remember what I had for lunch today.
That's fair. No, that's okay. We all know that too. Joining us is the wonderful and lovely Stephanie Sheridan. What's up, Steph?
Hi guys. How are we?
Wow, lovely dear.
Damn, day one, and you're making me blush with that intro.
Oh, Johnny's got the uniform and everything.
Jersey.
Nice.
This signature special Johnny Petraglia Brunswick jersey with a little Steph Share on the back available. If you guys want it, hit me up. We can negotiate.
As long as you sign it for me.
Yeah, well, I have to get this one. This is like the longest possession I've ever owned. Like usually I get something and I lose it within a couple months' time, no matter how valuable it is. It's one of my worst traits amongst the many.
You didn't lose it because it spent 2 years in my closet. So
you see, because I lost it. I did lose it. So
no, you gave it to me and I gave it back to you.
Okay, either way, it's still here. It's made it to the West Coast and back to the East Coast a couple times, so it's doing just well. So it's good to have you here, Steph.
Johnny, if you can sign it and then just sleep in it for a night and then send it to me, I got a special place for it.
All right, then. And there you go. Sonny lets you know she's from Dalton, PA.
Dalton. So, Rob, I'm like 20 minutes outside Scranton, Pennsylvania.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Not far from where The Office was. I love that show.
Correct, which is always everybody's response.
Of course.
Yep.
Well, yeah. I mean, is there anything else in Scranton?
No, nothing.
That's fair. Well, since Johnny doesn't know how you met Steph, do you remember how when Steph met Johnny?
Mm-hmm. The year escapes me, but I was in high school. John, you came up to bowl just the regular tournament at Idle Hour, and you were on lanes 1 and 2, and I was your scorekeeper. It was you, Michael, PJ, Freiberg, and the fifth is escaping me, but you guys were on lanes 1 and 2, and I was your scorekeeper in my charming PennDOT orange vest, and history was made after that. Yep.
I think Jason Statina was our fifth, if I'm not mistaken. Is that wrong?
It was either him or JJ. I believe it was either him or JJ. Somebody is bound.
Oh, yeah, JJ. It had to be.
JJ, yeah.
Yeah. All I know is that I was warned about the way the drinks were poured at Idle Hour at the beginning of that tournament. And that was definitely the peak of my drinking and like not caring about my drinking. So I really needed Steph to remember that day for me because I was having a hard time. But I do remember the day itself now.
I think I was 17 is my guess. So we're going to go with, I was going to say 2012. So it was probably 11 or 12.
That's good. Yeah, probably just around the time that I had moved here or just before.
Yeah.
It had to be that's right around
before.
So I want to start. Obviously, the second annual Michael Markis Memorial event was held at Chaco's Family Fun Center. Is it a Family Fun Center or is it just bowling center?
It's just bowling. They have bowling.
Chaco's Bowling Center. Mm-hmm. And I kind of wanted to, Rob, this was, I'm not going to take the credit here because this was actually Rob's idea. Thanks, JD. Should wear the Rydell shirt more often. That's 2 compliments in like 8 minutes and 30 seconds. All right. But we wanted, Rob, this is a great idea because the event itself commemorates the memory of somebody who was very close to a lot of us, and that is Michael Markis. And for those that knew him, that no introduction is needed. But for those who don't, that one person in your life that everybody craves to have around that just brings joy and positivity to pretty much anything, and humor really brings out the true nature of why we all exist and why we're alive. And gone too soon, but Steph and an awesome support team put together this. I'm just going to call it a super, super glorified regional because the entries are star-studded. The field is star-studded. The prize fund is astronomical for a weekend event. The raffles, the donations, the signage, everything. I feel like we have to pay a little bit of homage here. So, Steph, let's talk a little bit about the event and everybody involved. Let's not leave anybody out here.
So our tournament committee is me, Eric Hodorowski, Jack Current, JJ Sunday, and Sonny Weiland. I see Sonny in the chat. I know Eric's watching. I'm sure Jack and JJ are as well. This came about probably Michael passed away in April, so it was probably like July that Eric and I were talking. And I mean, what more appropriate way to honor such an incredible bowler than by a bowling tournament? But the one thing I said was, if we're going to do it, we need to do it right. We need to do it in a way that Michael would. I wanted it to be a tournament that Michael would have wanted to bowl himself. And shortly before Michael died, he had talked to me about wanting to run in our area a Bud Light Challenge type weekend. And for those of you on the East Coast, you understand the reference. But the Bud Light Challenge is a massive tournament in New York every year. It's held in Rochester. and he wanted to run that type of tournament. Big prize fund, phenomenal bowlers, a reason everybody's going to come out, tons and tons of side action. And I'm glad that I had that conversation with him because I knew what he wanted. And ultimately, his dream was how we chose to honor his life. John, I can't hear you.
You're muted, John.
Thanks. That's awesome, Jack. I'm glad it ended up in another left-hander's, in another lefty's hands. I was muting because I didn't want anybody to bark or anything in the background while Steph was talking. But awesome stuff there. Steph, what was the format of the event?
So we did 2 rounds of qualifying. So the first squad qualified Saturday afternoon at 1:00. It was 5 games qualifying, and then a new round of qualifying took place Sunday at 9:00. It was also 5 games, and then it was a squad cut. It was cut to the top 16 on both squads. So it was top 32 made it to match play. We did the top 4 got 2 round byes. The top 8 got a 1 round bye, and then nope, that might not be right, but there were byes, and then it was 2 game total pinfall, single elimination match play from there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's a longer format. The pattern is super, super hard, and I'm a firm believer of that kind of prize fund. They have to work for it. So, yeah, absolutely. Well, challenging.
So when it came down, you cut to the top 16, so 2 game total wood matches, so 4 rounds there, so 8 games for the people that showed up on Sunday.
It was 32 because it was 16 off each squad.
Off each squad.
Yep, and then we did byes off each. So the top 4 on each squad got byes, 2 round byes, and then 5 through 8 on each squad got a 1 round bye, and then the rest
That's awesome.
Went right in. Yeah.
That's really, really great. And as far as, obviously, let's first off congratulate the winner of the event, because I can't believe I'm even asking this, but I'm pretty sure that Shea Bittenbender was the inaugural champion last year, right?
He was, and talk about a hell of a moment. John Fury won this year, first of all, and I will circle back and give John all the credit in the world because he deserved every freaking second of that win. But last year, one of the most emotional moments of my life was when Shea won, because we cap it at 228 entries. We had a brilliant caliber of bowlers last year too, and the stars aligned, and a little bit of Mike was in that building, and his best friend won the whole damn thing. And I've never seen so many people cry in one place that wasn't a funeral. It was amazing. Yep. Yeah,
that's pretty hard to top. What's meant to be is meant to be in that respect.
Yeah.
Rob, I'm going to bring you up to speed, Rob, in case you don't know who John Fury is, who was the champion this year at the Michael Markis Memorial. Do you know who John is?
I've heard his name.
Okay. So John's obvious. When I say one of the best in the world, I'm talking whether they compete full-time professionally or bowl amateur and local regional stuff. When you're around enough and you see enough of the world's elite when it comes to this sport, you can pretty much decipher who the best 500 to 1,000 bowlers are in the world. So John Fury is one of the best bowlers in the world in that respect. He may not be known on television to a lot of people, but John's game has always been solid. And as of late, he's been absolutely tearing apart everywhere he goes. And John actually owns and operates the pro shop inside Howell Lanes where Ocho bowls.
That's where I've heard it. Ocho's talked about him quite a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So John spends not only a lot of time in Howell Lanes and working with, our hometown guys, but his pro shop is right outside the doors of Bones Elite Training Facility. The Russo and Bone facility that was built on the first 6 lanes or 5 lanes at Howell Lanes. And John dedicates his entire life to bowling. If he's not bowling league, he's drilling balls. If he's not drilling balls, he's giving lessons. And if he's not giving lessons, he's doing ball videos and demos or bowling regionals or events like this. So, and on top of all of it, to put all that aside, he is the most genuine class of a man you would ever meet. And anybody you talk to would say the exact same thing. And like anybody would say, no matter how we wanted, John Fury deserved to win that because he's an awesome person. It's the right kind of tournament to be remembered with a champion like that. And all in all, can't say enough good things about him. Steph, I'm sure you agree.
He's a wonderful soul. John is one of the best people I know. I've always said that. Stupidly talented player, but more importantly, a better person.
Absolutely. Rob, you have any questions before I keep rattling?
No, you're doing fine. I'm just kind of laying back, dude. You're going with it, so I wasn't gonna interrupt. How many entries did you have this year?
So we cap it at 228, 114 on each squad. Eric's in the chat pod. I know he has the breakdown. So you can bowl one squad or you can bowl both. I think it was a 73, 75. Nope, that wouldn't make sense either. However the split was, it was very close of people who bowled one squad, people who bowled both. But we cap it at 228 entries total.
Nice.
That's incredible to do that. That really is. I mean, I remember back to all the PBA days where if you were on A squad certain weeks, you would be dreaded to see who was coming out on B squad because you knew the numbers were going to be astronomically higher, or however it called, wherever. To have a 114 and a 110, and you're saying, however, that's. Or are you talking about the scoring pace that came off each block for the finalists, or are you just talking about how many entries you had in each squad?
Me or Rob?
You.
No, so we capped it at 114 for each squad. Yep. So we had 78 people were double entries. That was what I was referring to. Yep. I was going off the rails there. I had forgotten that they were two separate cuts. Yeah. We did squad cuts. Yep.
Cool.
Yep.
Eric, while you're in the chat, Eric, what I would like to know is I want to know, you cut to 16 both days. You said it was 32. I want to know what it took on day one and what it took on day two to make it. Oh, you already have it?
Of course I have it. Come on.
Tell me the cut numbers.
I'm steal Eric's spotlight, but I did write it down. So Saturday, the cut for match play was plus 66 and the cut to cash was plus 46. Sunday, the cut to match play was plus 47 and the cut to cash was plus 38. So we were just right before I came on here. It was about as damn near close as you could get to be in the same both days as far as scoring goes.
Yeah, that's
very close.
That's really, really super incredible. That's awesome.
Yep.
Greg, I saw your name up there too, man. Nice bowling.
Hi, Gregory.
Speaking of which, let's throw out a shout out to Greg. For my West Coast listeners, if you ever want to bowl a real tournament when you're back east, go sign up for one of Greg's tournaments. That is a shot making shot maker's paradise, so to speak.
You better not make your damn spares.
And you better bring your spare ball.
Yep.
It's a very humbling experience, but what's so cool about it is humbling to everybody. And right there, it's, everybody, you could have all the talent in the world, but you got to keep your head on straight in events like that. And Greg, I think, has done a really, really good job at operating events as such. Steph, how is your bowling game? Actually, before, let me stay on the tournament here real quick. Can you tell me, just for curiosity, because even though I'm not drinking anymore, I still would like to vicariously live through what was in the boozy buggy.
Oh, yes. Oh, God, I should have brought the flyer. And there was so much. There was like $600 of alcohol. We had every type of liquor you could imagine. There was a couple different types of wine. There was a 12-pack of Susquehanna Brewing Company. They're a local brewing company in Pittston or Wilkes-Barre, so we included that. White Claws.
Wait a minute. Steph, Susquehanna Brewing Company, is that the stuff that Sunny drinks?
Yes.
That one flavor that she just can't live without?
It's so good, right? It's fantastic.
I did enjoy that. that.
So we did that. White Claws. There's a couple different types of beers in there. I mean, if you name it, and it was in there. It was awesome.
That's good stuff.
Yeah,
and I'm assuming you had several bowling balls donated for the cause as well, and other random.
We ran a very, very, very large bowling ball raffle. We raffled off 35 bowling balls and 3 gift cards. And then we did the boozy buggy. And then we also did raffle baskets and autograph jerseys and stuff like that from players. Between the baskets and the jerseys, I believe we had 17 of those. And then, like I said, 35 bowling balls, 3 gift cards, and we had 50 different lane sponsors, those signs that you guys saw on the masking units.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Was there any local
what's the word I'm llooking for here, Rob? Look at Eric. Look at the description.
It's going to take up the whole screen.
Twisted Tea, SBC.
Yeah, some Yingling in there.
Of course, Pennsylvania, baby. White Claw, Fireball, vodka. You name it, it was there. It was so much. It was wild.
That's good stuff.
Yep. That's outstanding.
What were you asking? Was there any type of local?
I was, a lot of while we're on the subject, Rob, I want your input here. This is big too, man. Unfortunately, in this day and age, it's pretty safe to say that social media is great for a lot of things, but a lot of people, especially on social media, they just look for things to bitch about. Can we just say that? Okay. So one of the things that we see a lot of is people bitch about the way bowling tournaments are operated. People say this ratio of this, or this wasn't done right. The scoring monitor wasn't working. How could you not have an extra, whatever they want to figure out. Right. And then this always seems to be a recurring pattern. You guys, you and your team, Sonny, JJ, Jack, Eric, you guys pop out of nowhere in honor of Michael, and you put together, like at the drop of a dime, this tournament that attracts 200 plus entries on a weekend right between Thanksgiving and Christmas, where typically most people are trying to save their dollars. It's kind of an expensive time of the year, especially nowadays. From day one, from on this end, on an outsider's perspective, it looks like there's seemingly not only no hiccups with your guys' tournament or any of the tournaments that I've bowled operated by you guys. They're always just completely in order. Everybody does their job, knows what to do, is in the right spot at the right time. Nobody complains, but everything is run so solidly. So I guess my question is, obviously we know it's a team effort. It's not every man for himself. If you want to get to that level, you got to have a good support group behind you to some extent. And obviously, me being your best friend, I know that there's no group better than the group that you work with. But I want to know, Rob, where I'm kind of going with the questions here is, what do you think you guys do? And if I'm missing something, if people do bitch at you, because I'm sure there's stuff behind the scenes that we don't know about, but what do you think that you guys do differently that avoids issues like that? Because I think this would be a good thing for anybody aspiring to either run a tournament or attract entries in this current world where it's very hard to get that large of a turnout at an event, especially scratch bowlers.
Yes.
I think, first of all, I love that that's how you guys see it, and I love that's how our bowlers see it and everything else. I'm not going to sit here and tell you it's rainbows and sunshine behind the scenes, because it's hard. What we do is hard. It is months and months and months of planning, but it is beautiful when it comes together. Sonny's 100% correct. We love each other. We talk openly. The communication is very, very good. It is a lot of planning, but the communication's good. It helps that doesn't help. It is, Eric and Jack ran tournaments for a decade prior to this. So there's so much experience on their end in terms of how to run efficient tournaments. Sonny is stupid organized. So that's amazing. I have a relatively large social media presence, so there's a lot of, I can advertise a lot. JJ's very good at talking to people. He's the reason that the Boozy Buggy sold what it did. He busted his ass in a bowling center for weeks before. We only announced it 3 weeks before, but I don't think there was a night that he wasn't in a bowling alley pushing those raffle tickets. So we all have something that we do, and it comes together. We all have our own little jobs, and it does come together. Like I said, it's not easy, man. It is hard and it is exhausting, but it is beautiful.
We have some requests. Sorry to cut you off and seemingly completely want nothing to do with your beautiful response. Let me fix this here. They want to see the shirt again. This is my favorite jersey of all time. It just says Brunswick, and that Brunswick is purple. And then, of course, on the back, we have, I had to make sure that, by the way, you look good lefty, Steph.
Hey, thanks. I won't ever do that, but thank you so much. I think I averaged 62 left-handed, so yeah, it's great.
Well, your finishing position suggests otherwise.
That's because it's flipped. Greg in the chat, super sweet. Thank you, especially coming from you, the tournaments that you run. Dan, that's the other thing. He said we're all honest and transparent, and that's one thing that Eric and Jack are really big about with their monthly tournaments, and it carries over into this. we released the prize fund breakdown was there. What we brought in was there. The lineage was there. Like, you guys, the bowlers see it. We don't take expenses. The bowling center gets their lineage. We get $5 from each entry, goes into the scholarship. The rest of it goes 100% right back to the bowlers. With all the raffles, we had $9,525 added into the prize fund.
Wow.
And we paid out $36,000 altogether.
Outstanding.
So,
and you know what? Isn't that great, Rob? And the snowball effect is going to happen now, because eventually now what's going to happen is word's going to get around of this event. There's going to be people throwing money at this event because it's so well organized and because they see the success of it. And in that area of the country, it's just such a great area to host an event like that. Hey, Derek.
Hey, Derek.
See you, bro.
We're so central as far as the East Coast goes. And John, I know you know that, but we had players, and this is a good time to throw this in here. We had players from 12 different states and Canada show up because we are so central. I think the only people that took a flight were Shay, Tim, and Jackie. And you're looking at Missouri and Michigan. But like, both Carolinas are drivable. Maryland, Virginia, Delaware, New York, New Jersey, Rhode Island, Massachusetts, they're all drivable. And, that type of accessibility, I think, is a huge factor as to why we can generate that type of response as well. And Michael's name is on it. Not for nothing, but Michael's name is on it. And I think, the idea of doing something in his memory appeals to a lot of people as well.
Absolutely.
And that's where I was going to go with it is it's a great cause, right? I mean, it's to celebrate the life of Michael and, a great way for people to get together and fellowship and have fun doing something that he loved and everybody loves.
Yeah. And we give back in a big way too. Michael loved, and Rob, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Michael loved the junior bowlers. He loved them. And he would always tell me Saturday mornings are his favorite time to be in the pro shop because he loved the kids. So we do $2,500 in scholarships every year. So we give back to the junior bowlers through the event too, which is awesome. Yeah.
Ryan Granahan.
Ryan G.
That's fantastic.
What a gem. Hi, Ryan.
Good shit.
Ryan and his wife and his daughter and his mom and his dad all donated to our tournament both last year and this year. So, Ryan, thank you. I love you tremendously.
Do you have anybody ask if you can raise the cap of entries? Because I'm sure there's a lot more people that want to get in, but obviously can't, right?
We cannot. So Chaco's has a 40-lane bowling center. We use 1 and 2 as a breakdown. Obviously, you got to have it. We start at 3 and 4, and we go to 40. We do 6 on a pair, so 3 on a lane, and we do Saturday and Sunday, and that is the max. Friday night, we ran a sweeper last year. It about like half filled, but Friday night was a big travel night for everybody, and then the Friday night league at Chaco's grew a lot this year, so there just wasn't going to be enough lanes for it to be worth it. And then they do the junior league on Saturday morning, as they should. So we wouldn't be able to do a Saturday morning squad and then a Saturday afternoon squad. So we are capped at 228. Yep.
Sure. Got it. No, that's trying to think of if I missed any questions I had about I have a question about your event. Was there a dress code?
No, we did not announce a dress code. But with the caliber of players, we didn't have to. We did not have to. I mean, you're talking, no one came rolling up in sweatpants or, whatever. It was all jeans, dress pants, golf pants. The girls wore either shorts or skirts. A lot of name shirts, tons and tons of jerseys. If it wasn't a jersey, it was a really nice shirt. We didn't have to. Nope.
Awesome. I kind of figured as much even without a dress code. I mean, dress codes are kind of becoming a little these days anyway. But in an event like that, I wouldn't expect anybody to be rolling up in, cutoffs and shorts and shit like that. Rob, am I missing any other questions for the event? Steph, do you have anything you want to add about the event? Because I have a couple other things on the docket that I'd love to get your take on too, as well as Radical Robears.
There was just one thing I wanted to add. We did have a first this year. John Van Hughes threw our very first tournament 300. He threw it in match play. Between last year and this year, when we calculated it, it was like 2,200 games or something had been bowled, and John was the first person to bowl 300, which was super fitting because after he did it, I realized him and Mike, were very close, and I realized after he did it that he also bowled 300 the same night that Michael passed away. So it was this beautiful connection. It was really cool to see it.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. It's amazing the amount of things like that happen at an event as magical with that big of a purpose. That's really, really great.
And you were talking about connections, and one of the things that we're told all the time is it's networking, it's this, it's that, to make it even better. Somehow along the line, word got out enough, and we had country singer Jimmy Allen present all weekend. So Jimmy Allen bowled, which was awesome. He signed a ball and a Michael Memorial jersey for us to raffle off next year. So it was, it's cool to be reaching several different types of audiences.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
He's done a lot for the sport. He loves it. He's totally obsessed with it. Yeah.
Loves it. Yeah. He was showing me pictures of the pro shop he put in his garage. He said he has something like 140 bowling balls in his garage. He has like 50 some on his tour bus. I'm like, holy crap, man, that's a lot.
Any brands sign him up yet? Brunswick needs to get on that, Johnny.
I believe that they are. He was looking for a bag. I believe he is with Brunswick. He was looking for a bag at one point that specifically had to be Brunswick. So I believe he is with Brunswick. Yeah. Smart guy.
He's on the right team. He came here to Smyrna, Tennessee, and they did a celebrity charity thing. I forgot who he was with. He was with a pro, and the name escapes me now, and I should know this, but I completely forgot. But they did several stops around the country. But yeah, I've heard nothing but good things about Jimmy Allen.
Yeah, awesome guy. Super down to earth. Took a lot of time after Saturday. Sunday he had to get going. He had a flight to catch, but he took a lot of time after Saturday. Pictures, autographs. And I said to Eric, I think it speaks to the players that we had in the building too, because for as excited as so many of them were to see him, not even the players, but like the spectators, there was not one single person who bothered him while he was bowling. Every single person waited until his sneakers were back on before they started asking for pictures and autographs, which I thought was wonderful.
And Johnny, we talked about that several weeks ago, about how bowling fans are different than any other kind of sport. Like super considerate, super respectful. It's a different crowd. It's a chill crowd.
Thanks, Ryan. Bowling, you think bowling fans are a chill crowd compared to other sports? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
That's only because they're indoors. Okay. If there was an action bowling match and you set up 4 lanes in AT&T Stadium, I mean, people would be throwing shit at each other. Bowlers are ruthless, are really, really ruthless to some extent. But no, you're right. They're much more reserved, and like you're never gonna have an entire clan of fans like wanting to throw shit at a bowler that's bowling another bowler because they hate him so much. They'll usually cheer for everybody.
Except for wives that are jealous of Pete Weber and stuff like that.
Bowlers take their shit out on social media. They don't do it, and
that's true.
Just calling it how I see it. Honestly, that's how it goes. But I know you have stuff to talk about. I just want to thank my tournament committee, Eric, Jack, JJ, Sonny. I can't thank you guys enough. The love I have for you guys, the patience, the planning, the support, everything. It's just, we did a beautiful thing. And thank you guys for putting up with my nonsense, because I was the one that had this, couldn't just run like a normal $50 scratch tournament. I had to, put it on steroids. So,
it's awesome that you did. Real quick, what's up, James Bryan? I hope I'm looking the right way when I do this, because it's kind of, hello, James Bryan.
Hey, JB.
Ryan. Damn it, I lost it. Ryan.
Yep.
Rochelle and I were talking about you earlier, and she wanted to know how you were doing. Maybe send her a message on Facebook or something, or shoot her a text, because we legit were talking about you less than 3 hours ago while we were having sushi at Oishi. I actually said to Rochelle at the sushi joint a couple hours ago, I said, as I was looking at the menu, I said, if Ryan was here, let me make sure I get this right. I said, if Ryan was here right now, he would order octopus. I think it's called masago, which is that seaweed thing with like the little eggs, and sea urchin. Sea urchin. That would be your order right now. Tell me if I'm close. And anyway, I hope all is well. Send my best to your family.
I'm never going to get down to my head.
I'm just trying to order chicken fingers.
Right, dude? Yeah, seriously.
That's all I'm looking for, is some chicken fingers and curly fries or something.
Yep.
And M asterisk E stars. Ocho, very, very he's not feeling well. And we're sending out our love and hoping that he's getting better. Ocho never, ever, ever misses a beat, never misses a show, ever on any of the weeks or any of the shows that he does weekly, especially with this guy.
Yeah.
And he very, very short and sweet told us that he's getting hit pretty hard with what's going around right now. So said usually recovers in 2 to 3 days. So we're hopeful that he'll be back next week and in good shape. But love you too, Rye. Yeah, the weirder the better, of course.
So to wrap it up here, about the last 10 minutes, 15 minutes or so, I know, Johnny, you want to talk about the recent announcement between the PBA and Bowl TV, who are partnering up now and going to be live streaming quite a bit of bowling. PBA 50, PBA Junior, the PBA Regional Tour, the Roth Holman PBA Doubles Championship, lots of stuff going on. You guys will be able to see match play and qualifying and all that. So Steph and I were talking about it off air before you got here, Johnny. And I know you want to cover the recent price increase that they announced, which some fans are kind of upset about. Stephanie has a unique take on it, but from my end, I think people are kind of upset about having to pay one lump sum per year as opposed to paying monthly and breaking it down. So I'll start with you, Stephanie. How do you feel about the number one? The announcement's fantastic. I'm sure we all agree with that. But how do you feel about what they're charging for the service?
I think we as bowlers spent a long time wanting bowling to be in one place. We had Extra Frame, we had Flow, we had Bowl TV, we had all these different outlets, and now it is in one place. Now we have one place that we can go to. So we're not paying for Flow or Extra and Bowl TV. We are now just paying for one. So right there, taking 2 subscriptions down to one. And when it's $120 a year, it's less than $10 a month. I can't wait. I'm excited. I'm going to pay for it. I think it's awesome. I understand that the idea of maybe putting up that much money right up front might be tough for some people. But there's a lot of things that we pay a lot more for every single year. And I think we asked and they gave it to us. And it's a hell of a lot cheaper than Flow Bowling was.
How about Greg's point here?
Greg said Flow was $129.99. So I thought I remembered Flow being like $30 a month at some point, and Bowl TV previously was $64 a year. So if you combine that, you're looking at almost $200 a year. They all but chopped that in half and then put bowling in one place. So I think it's awesome.
Johnny, what are your thoughts on the whole thing?
Well, I think I agree with that also, and I you know me, I like to compare it to other shit, man. Like. So most people nowadays that have a smart TV, they have Netflix, Peacock, Hulu, Disney Plus, ESPN Plus, Paramount Plus.
I have all those.
They have all Prime Video because and they pay for these individual subscriptions, right?
Yep.
Like Rochelle loves Yellowstone, right? As a lot of people in the world do.
Oh yeah.
Rochelle loves Yellowstone, so she either has to purchase it on Amazon Prime or watch it when it's live on television. But she can't watch it on, say, Netflix or Hulu, right? The same way I can't watch Last Man on Earth on Netflix. I have to go to Hulu, or I can watch any Avengers movie on Disney Plus if I want to, but I can't watch it on Peacock. If I want to watch the new Casey Anthony bullshit that they just came out with, I need Peacock. So if you woke up tomorrow and they said, hey, bro, you want to watch Yellowstone, bowling, ESPN, and all these Avengers movies all together, instead of paying $12 here, $6 here, $8 there, it's $100 all year, but you got to pay it at once. I would pay it, right? Because you're getting all the action in one spot. The same way people would pay for a subscription for NFL Sunday Ticket or the Golf Channel.
I do, yeah.
Right. So the perfect example here is if we're trying to grow bowling, the biggest problem in bowling at the pinnacle level is there's not enough time for it on actual air. Yeah. So what this is going to do is allow everybody to watch, for instance, Tiger Woods. Tiger Woods is the greatest golfer that's ever lived, right? That's why everybody knows who he is. But Tiger Woods is more famous because Tiger Woods is on television Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday for a minimum of 4 hours a day. That's 16 hours he gets of airtime every single week, and the PGA Tour season goes for the entire year. Comparatively speaking, Jason Belmonte is the best bowler in bowling, and he's done things in the sport that nobody in the world has ever even thought about doing. I'm talking about winning 14 majors in your first 22 actual established PBA wins, and in less than 12 years. That's unheard of, but Belmo only gets, if he qualifies 5th and runs the ladder, he only gets an hour and a half of airtime every week. What doing this does is this allows every avenue, every event, it allows people the privilege to watch the very same thing they're paying for in other sports to see how the story got to where it got. And if they do it correctly, like we've talked in past shows, now you can learn and get more intimate with each of the players because you have all of that available airtime. And I'm telling you guys right now, if they do it correctly, they won't be talking about the fucking lane conditions and the volume all the fucking time. They will talk about the players. And I think that it's a great start for and a chance to try and make people realize what the sport's all about, even though we always tease it and call it a skill. But I definitely like what they're doing. By the way, I don't know if I farted or I just got a whiff of shit or the air just kicked on, but that's a weird smell.
I miss you so much.
It's so weird, the smell. There's not even an animal in here.
I farted while I was muted, so maybe you just smell it through
Good. Sorry about that. If anybody else can smell it, but I apologize.
Look, I think it's good that we get to see, you're right, Johnny, like the sport grow. And we've talked about this ad nauseum about wanting to know more about the players. We'll get a quick little 2-minute vignette on Fox if we get that before each match. And we don't know a lot about the people. If you want to invest in the sport, you want to invest in people. You want to know more about the people that you're supposed to be rooting for or rooting against, depending if they're good guys or bad guys. Like everybody wants to give Sean Rash shit, or, Pete Weber's the bad boy, or blah, blah, blah. Bring that out. Show people who.
I want there to be an uproar when Wes Malott wants to leave Storm Products and go to another company because they're not paying him enough. I want to hear about it. You know?
Yeah.
I want it to be about like everybody in the world is talking about Aaron Judge, $40 million a year, right?
Right.
Is anybody talking about the fact that Cristiano Ronaldo was just offered $211 million to go play for the UAE for one season? No, I want to see little tidbits of shit like that just transpire from people watching more throughout the qualifying and at least see the journey that it takes rather than the 15 minutes they have on television.
Well, plus you get to see the grind too, like during the week, like which is it's just horrible. Like your dad's talked about it a lot too. It's just the amount of games that he had to throw. And I don't know if it's the same now as it used to be, but it's fucking grueling. I
think it's the same, but it's not as often. Okay. Like they have the smaller tournaments in between the longer format, where I believe in like John Senior's day and time, it was the longer formats all the time. But to speak to what Johnny was saying, I always said I think what's missing when it comes to watching bowling on TV is people who don't really understand bowling have no freaking clue what it took for those players to get to that show.
True.
They have no idea. And then, a player goes on TV, bowls 160, and the guy sitting in the recliner at home is laughing, going, I could have done that.
Yeah,
exactly.
Now they're giving them a chance to, no, you probably couldn't have done that, because now you get to see what they're going through. And the fact that sometimes by the time they get to television, they're just flat out exhausted. So I think it's really good now that they're giving the public a chance to kind of, a day in the life, but every day of qualifying and match play. And I think hopefully it will allow people to have a little bit more respect for, the 180 or 190 they see thrown on TV.
Johnny, I know you like, I'm sorry to interrupt
you. No, real quick. Bowl TV, when you need some fantastic announcers that give a shit about the sport and actually are way ahead of the game as far as knowing what the score is and the pace and the balls being used and what all the players are thinking, you can give me a call because I'd actually love to do that.
That's right. Nobody better
than
Rob, you.
What were you going to say now?
Well, I was going to... Wait, was that the right way? Yeah. I was going to say... I forgot what I was going to fucking say. We used to talk about, like, back in the day, it used to suck to be number one in the step ladders because, you get somebody in a hot streak that qualified fifth or whatever, fourth, and you only have one game and you're not as warmed up as them. It kind of sucks. Well, now you kind of get to see how that number one seed will fucking dominate during the week. And maybe give you a little bit more respect about if they're one and done. You're like, oh, how the fuck did this guy lose? He led the tournament. Well, you get to see what he had to go through to get to the step ladder. So it's going to be fun.
100%.
It's going to be fun to watch.
We see all of golf. We see Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday of golf. We see all of it. And we see, like John said, we see an hour and a half of bowling, and you don't get a true picture. Real quick in the comments, Greg, are you talking about the type of rating system that you use? So he uses a rating system where his patterns are, like, he rates them. I think it's 1 to 5 based on easy. I don't want to say easiness because none of his patterns are easy, but
Derek, I've never been called a squirrel before. Can you explain?
Because your attention span is that of a squirrel.
Oh,
you'll be in conversation and you're just gone.
But I don't lose the original.
No, you
combo.
come right back. You come right back. Squirrel comes back for his nut too.
Oh, okay. Well, then thank you, Dad. Thank you, Derek. Yes. Rochelle tells me that all the time, but I tell her she's crazy, and that it's not me. But it really sucks when your own best friends tell you that that's exactly what you are. So, damn it.
Yeah, she was spot on. It's because you were talking about something else and you were asking about something that was smelling. So, yes.
Yes. Well, it smelled enough to, anyway, doesn't matter. What else did I want to say here? What are we talking? Steph, how is your bowling game these days?
It's all right. I'm really good at League. It's about where we're at right now. No, I hadn't bowled a lot because of everything going on with this tournament. Eric and I have been away a lot. I am bowling a tournament at Southside in Scranton this Sunday. I probably won't bowl the 2 weekends after that. I think the last tournament I bowled was Southside Doubles in St. Louis, and that was the end of September. But I bowl Eric's stuff every month. I bowl League twice a week, 2.5 times, because I bowl every other Wednesday. But, all right. I bowled there a couple weeks ago. I bowled really well in New York a couple weeks ago. It's all right. It's about to be getting better, practicing and getting there.
Do you have a favorite oil pattern to compete on?
Let me tell you what it's not. A house shot. I hate house shots.
Oh.
No. Do I have a favorite? No. My game is more conducive to shorts because I am a woman and my rev rate is 290 on a good day. And my ball speed's about 15 and a half. So I'm more conducive on the gutter, but I like longer patterns because it's challenging and I am able to kind of whack it at the bottom and hook it a little bit more than another woman may be able to. So longer patterns are more fun for me, but I strike more on shorter patterns.
Interesting. You and Rob share a lot of characteristics there, similar characteristics there, because he likes to do the same thing as you.
Yes.
I like to hook it when I can. I know, Eric, I know. He said hates league shots, averaging 231. That is a fact. But I like patterns that make my brain go numb because it's challenging. That's it. But it's good. Bowling's good.
Greg Tack said that all of his patterns are easy for the record. If that's the case, I'm announcing my official retirement from the game.
I know.
Right now.
I have seen Greg run patterns where the leader is like 40 under. We're not talking match play, cash cut. We're talking the flipping leader is like 40 under. So, no, Greg.
It's scary to me. I mean, the first game I bowled at his first tournament, the left lane was a hard cheetah, but I loved throwing the T-zone up the rail. I struck every time on the left lane and bowled 160 because the right lane I couldn't get 7, and I tried like at least 3 different arrows and 2 different balls that first game, and then I caught a nice pair and I switched to a Columbia Speed on the right lane and bowled 250 or 240, and I was right around even. I'm like, oh, this is looking good. That was about it. I definitely need a little bit more practice.
You texted me and you were like, what the F? I'm like, I probably should have warned you,
That day started out incorrectly for me because, I have my own personal ritual before I start a bowling tournament. And I was in the parking lot. And when I got done with my ritual, I had a bottle of Poland Spring water in my car. It was in, I have my backpack. It's got the 2 nets on the side. Anybody that bowls with me knows about my water bottles.
Poland Springs.
And I'm sitting in the car. I just turned it off. I'm about to take the balls out. I'm like, let me take a swig, wet my whistle. Took a nice hard rip of Poland Spring water, probably that much out of the bottle, and it was not water. It was vodka. And right then and there, I either had to spit it out or swallow it and just accept the way the rest of the day was going to go.
And of course, like a champ, you swallowed.
This is a great conversation.
This is actually way less X-rated than normal. I mean,
yes.
Ocho would have tagged you way earlier talking about doing what you do at the bottom to the ball and
whacking
all that
at the
shit.
bottom.
So
I did say I grabbed the ball. I did say that. I did say I grabbed the ball. Yeah, that did come out of my mouth. But
No, you said whack it at the bottom.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
But my attention
full of
span.
innuendos that we don't even realize we're saying anymore because it's just like second.
Yeah, Ocho really loves when we talk about the purple hammer. He just cannot get enough of it. He can't get enough of that ball, right, Rob?
That's true. That's absolutely right.
Go ahead, Rob.
I was going to say, it's good to have Steph here. I got to hit another podcast here, so I got 10 minutes left before I got to go, but we are going to wrap it up here.
Guys.
But yes, I do appreciate being here. We got to have you on more. Number one,
anytime.
you're more interesting than Ocho, so maybe we can just have you fill in for him like every other week.
Do I have to wear a mask if I'm his fill-in? Because
Yes, you do.
I don't have one of those.
We'll get you one.
I'll figure it out.
We'll get you one. Just let us know what your favorite color is, and we'll get you one. Johnny, anything you want to say before we wrap it up?
Yeah, I just wanted to say again to JJ Sunday, Jack Curran, Eric Hodorowski, Steph Sheridan, Sonny Weiland. Did I miss anybody? Again, I'm sorry I wasn't there. L5S1 issues, wasn't able to walk. That's actually the only reason I wasn't there this year. But other than that, really, really great event. Awesome tribute to a great person. Let me answer Kevin's question here real quick. Here's the squirrel coming back out. What was the name of that bowling alley we went to in Pennsylvania? Kevin, I need more than that. Did we drive together to a place in Pennsylvania to bowl? Anyway, the tournament was obviously run by people that just know how to do it, and it's an honor and privilege to call all of you friends, and I'm certainly looking forward to no excuses to missing the next one.
Yes, please. Don't break yourself again.
The dungeon in Pennsylvania. Do you know any dungeon bowling alleys in Pennsylvania?
I mean, it's probably inappropriate for me to say it because I'm going to call the place a dungeon, but is there a chance he's referring to Wallenpaupack?
Was it like a small bowling alley, Kev? Like 16 lanes?
Paulpack's 12.
Or 12 lanes?
BYOB. It was downstairs under a store. There is a
Oh, wait a minute. That's the one.
alley?
That's the one by the casino where you have to walk down the ramp. God, Troy was bowling that tournament. It was a bigger one. Bowler X Pro Shop is on the high end. The pool tables are on the low end.
It was Town and Country, so it's not a dungeon. It was Town and Country. Is that what you're referring to? And they just bought it. It's like Steel City and something or other. But yes, you have to go down a ramp and then Bowler X is, if I'm thinking correctly, yes. And somebody in the chat.
Yes. I don't know because now he's saying stairs. Kev, I'll talk to you about it later.
There has to be stairs. Town and Country, yes.
Yes. Okay.
That was the first bowling center I ever made a stepladder finals in. It also may have been the only one, but whatever.
Nice. Well, as that's really all from me tonight. Steph, guys, great tournament. Thanks again,
Thank you.
and love you, Michael, and miss you.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
Thank you.
Steph, again, we appreciate you coming on. Johnny, as always.
Thanks for having me. It was a really fun time. I enjoyed it.
It was fun.
Anytime.
Johnny,
Steph.
Johnny, my beautiful friend. He's also
real quick.
Yes, sir.
I got a new toy.
Thanks, babe.
You remember this ball? Or are you too young, Steph?
I don't know what year did it come out because I'm going to say my birth year and everyone's going to go, "Oh my God, she's such a baby."
I got a brand new blue ebonite Omega from 1995.
I was born in 94, so I wasn't on the earth for it. But that was it. I was just on the earth.
Thanks, Eric.
Little
Thanks,
Omega.
Derek. Thank you, guys. I also heard, Johnny, that somebody has a new inbox rubber LT.
Dad's got a bunch in his garage at home.
He does,
I have been frantically looking for a 12 or 13 pound vintage LT48, the new release from about a decade ago or whatever it was, because I got a random phone call from one of my buddies, Flavor Flav. He actually called me the other day. He was at the shop and his other I drilled him 2 LT48s. It's his favorite ball. And it's the only ball he'll drill. And he's asking me to get him another one. And I said to him, I'm like, dude, can't you just pick something that's like exactly the same ball with a different name? And he's absolutely refusing. So if anybody has a 12 or 13 pound blank vintage JPLT 48 laying around, it's for Flavor Flav. So send me a message and I'll gladly compensate you back for what it is.
If Greg Tack or JJ Sunday is still in the chat, Greg I feel like might be a good person to reach out to. JJ Sunday knows everybody. JJ's brain about bowling blows my mind. He might be a good person to reach out to. He won't have one, but he might know someone that has one. Okay. And I have a kid in mind I can text to. So
please do, and that would be awesome. And with that, Rob, why don't you close us out here?
All right, guys, we appreciate you joining us here on Johnny's Facebook page as well as our YouTube channel, Straight Up 5 with Johnny Petraglia Jr. If you are not subscribed to that channel, fuck you waiting for? You've been here every single week. Please subscribe to that channel. And also, we're live streaming on our Twitter page tonight at Straight Up 5 POD for the first time ever. So we got a couple people showing up there as well. So trying to get the show some cred, like we had Kyle Troop on in the beginning. We need more street cred when it comes with the pros. But and Johnny, why the fuck do we not have Flavor Flav on the show? Jesus Christ, how are you going to name drop like that and not be able to get him as a guest?
Yo! Because we would never get a sentence out.
That's fair. No, that's fair.
No, you know what though? If we can find that ball, I'll make you all a promise right now. I will get him on the show.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
All right, guys, we'll be back next week for another edition of Straight Up 5 with Johnny Petraglia Jr. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Night, fam.
Thanks for listening to this edition of Straight Up 5 with Johnny Petraglia Jr. You can follow the show on Twitter at Straight Up 5 Pod. Follow Johnny Jr. at JPJR07. Follow Rad Rob at Rad Rob Gaming. And follow Dr. Ocho at the Dr. Ocho. Got a question for Johnny? Send your questions to straightUp5podcast@gmail.com. We'll see you next time for another edition of Straight Up 5 with Johnny Petraglia Jr. Right here on the Rad Rob Radio Network.
Hello, it is Ryan, and I was on a flight the other day playing one of my favorite social spin slot games on ChumbaCasino.com. I looked over at the person sitting next to me, and you know what they were doing? They were also playing Chumba Casino. Everybody's loving having fun with it. Chumba Casino is home to hundreds of casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com to claim your free welcome bonus. That's ChumbaCasino.com and live the Chumba life.
Sponsored by Chumba Casino.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.